Chapter 6. The Power of Emotional Detachment. Calm under fire isn't built by caring less. It's built by detaching from what you can't control. Emotional detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's the ability to stay steady when others drown in drama. Because when you are ruled by emotion, you become reactive. But when you master detachment, you become strategic. You don't stop feeling, you start directing. And that's the difference between losing control and leading it. The trap of emotional dependence. Most people live like emotional mirrors. Whatever the world reflects, they become. Someone insults them, they get angry. Someone praises them, they feel worthy. Someone ignores them, they feel invisible. That's not strength. That's dependence. That's letting strangers decide your peace. You can't be free if your emotions belong to someone else. You can't be calm if every opinion moves you. You must learn to break that chain. You must learn to feel deeply, but respond deliberately. When someone tries to provoke you, don't take the bait. When life throws chaos your way, don't hand it your focus. When people misjudge you, don't defend. Perform. You don't need their understanding. You need your direction. That's the essence of emotional detachment. You stop chasing control over others and start claiming control over yourself. The surgeon's lesson. Think of a surgeon in the operating room. If he panics, someone dies. If he takes things personally, mistakes multiply. He doesn't detach from the patient. He detaches from panic. He feels the pressure, but he channels it into precision. That's emotional detachment in action. It's not about indifference. It's about intention. It's about keeping your emotional energy aligned with your mission. That's why the best performers don't react. They recalibrate. They don't suppress emotions. They control their exposure to them. They say, I feel this, but I choose what to do with it. That's power. That's peace. Detachment is clarity. When emotion clouds your mind, clarity disappears. You start fighting for validation instead of victory. You start focusing on feelings instead of facts. But the moment you detach, your mind clears. You can see the situation for what it is, not what your ego says it is. Clarity is calm, and calm creates control. You stop taking things personally. You stop making assumptions. You start seeing life as data, not drama. That's how leaders think. They don't ask, how do I feel about this? They ask, what's the smartest move right now? When you live that way, you become almost untouchable. Not because nothing hurts you, but because nothing rules you. Detachment versus apathy. Let's be clear. Detachment isn't apathy. Apathy says, I don't care. Detachment says, I care wisely. Apathy numbs emotion. Detachment manages it. Apathy makes you passive. Detachment makes you powerful. The detached mind still loves, still dreams, still connects. But it doesn't crumble when things go wrong, because it knows the difference between what's within control and what's beyond control. It knows that emotion is a signal, not a sentence. When you practice detachment, you don't lose connection. You lose chaos. The Stoic practice. The Stoics understood this long before psychology did. They said, you cannot control what happens, but you can control how you respond. That's not just philosophy, it's survival. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire under war, plague, and betrayal. Yet he wrote in his journal every night, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's detachment. It's the refusal to surrender inner peace to outer chaos. You may not control the weather, but you control your umbrella. You may not control others' behavior, but you control your boundaries. You may not control outcomes, but you control effort. Detach from what's beyond your reach. Double down on what's in your hands. That's emotional maturity. That's mental toughness. The test: provocation and patience. Here's where your training gets tested: when someone disrespects you, when someone lies about you, when someone tries to drag you into emotional combat. Your instinct will scream, defend yourself. Your ego will shout, prove them wrong. But your calm says, don't waste your fire. Every time you react, you lose energy. Every time you chase validation, you lose focus. Every time you try to change someone's mind, you give them control over yours. The real flex is patience. The real power is restraint. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to explain. You let your silence speak, because silence is louder than argument, and detachment makes silence possible. Remember this line: your pause is your power. Use it when the noise gets loud. The discipline of emotional minimalism. Most people live with emotional clutter. They carry every opinion, every argument, every disappointment. You can't think clearly when your emotional room is full of noise. You must declutter it. Start by letting go of what doesn't serve you. You don't need to replay every insult. You don't need to overanalyze every interaction. You don't need closure from everyone. Peace is closure enough. Every time you choose not to engage, you gain strength. Every time you choose quiet over chaos, you build calm. This is emotional minimalism. Keeping only what adds to your power and letting go of everything that doesn't. Because calm doesn't live in crowded minds. Real-world strength. The strongest people you know, the ones who seem unshaken, aren't emotionless. They're detached. They've trained themselves to absorb pressure without panic. They've learned that not every emotion deserves a reaction. They've realized that not every situation deserves their energy. When people try to provoke them, they don't respond. When life throws chaos, they don't break rhythm. Because their calm is a weapon, not a weakness. Detachment is strength under pressure. Detachment is control under fire. That's what elite performers, soldiers, leaders, and thinkers all share: the ability to separate emotion from execution. Training detachment. Daily, you can't detach once and be done. You must train it like a muscle. Every morning, remind yourself, what can I control today? What must I release? During conflict, breathe before you respond. During setbacks, evaluate before you panic. During praise, stay humble. During criticism, stay grounded. It's not about perfection. It's about awareness. It's about noticing when emotion rises and choosing not to let it lead. That's how calm becomes habit. That's how discipline becomes peace. The transformation. Emotional detachment isn't distance, it's mastery. It's not coldness, it's command. When you detach, you don't run from life. You stand in the middle of it, and you choose what gets your energy. That's true strength. That's what makes you calm under fire. Because you finally realize you can feel everything and still remain unshaken. You can face chaos and still move with precision. You can care deeply and still stay in control. That's the art of emotional detachment. That's how warriors of the mind live. Transition to next chapter. You've mastered detachment, the art of not letting the world shake your peace. But calm isn't just about control. It's also about endurance. Because when life tests your patience over time, when storms don't pass quickly, you'll need one more skill: the strength to endure silently. Next, we dive into that power, the strength that grows in waiting, in patience, in persistence. Chapter 7. Endure without complaint.